Arsenal Fan TV America, welcome back. Welcome back to all the soccer fans, football fans from all around the world. And thank you for watching. We come to you here from the Pacific Northwest, USA. Champions League edition, of course, but we also are going to touch base on a couple of games for Arsenal now. One for the Champions League, since this is a Champions League episode. And the other game we'll be talking about briefly is the Premier League game, the Aston Villa game. Hey, listen, straight to Champions League, you got to watch the Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, and Newcastle group. The two games were very exciting. And, in about 15, 16 minutes or so, three different teams were going to the next round, which is, of course, the round of 16, or what we call, there's no points anymore. It's win or go home. It's the knockout stages. So, very exciting for Arsenal. And again, we're going to talk about Arsenal in the group. We're going to talk about every group, who made it, who's out. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit in depth about our game with PSV Eindhoven, of course, which is, you all know, Arsenal is in Group B. A lot to cover. And again, here at Arsenal Fan TV America, we will bring you every group. We will tell you who is going to the next round of 16. So let's go real quick to Bayern Munich and Group A. Of course, great games. One of the games that you should watch. Man United took on Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. Back in the day, this would be the game of the season. This might be the final. Back in the day, those teams were equally strong. But today, like the commentators were saying most, if not all the time, they're in a different league. Manchester United is not on the same level of Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is a very, very well-oiled machine. You could see it. You could see how they approach Champions League, and what a team. So that's a must-watch game. Of course, Bayern Munich were able to beat Manchester United, and Manchester United now is out even the Europa League. They're not going to be anywhere near it. So Bayern Munich topped the Group A, and then with them goes Copenhagen, that surprised everyone, including me. I expected Galatasaray to go, but they beat Galatasaray. They had home advantage and they used it. Now Galatasaray goes to Europe League playoffs, and Bayern Munich and Copenhagen are the two teams going to the next round of 16. Now, let's go real quick to Group B. And as you all know, let's remind you that this is our group, Arsenal Football Club's group. Arsenal were able to finish with 13 points. Second to them was PSV with 9 points. They both go to the next round. Lens finished with 8, so they go to the Europa League. And then, of course, Sevilla is out entirely, which is really awkward and weird for Sevilla. And that was Group B. So now let's talk about the Arsenal game real quick. We went to play PSV Eindhoven, so the Dutch league winner. Of course, PSV, we know. We went to visit them in Holland, play them at their own ground. Let me start by talking about the starting lineup. This is a very, very busy playing period. Games every week. You're going to be playing 2 games. Sometimes between a game and the other, with Boxing Days, like 2 games. 2 days or so, and 3 days. So a lot of games in a very short period of time, like I said, and it's very hectic for any player. So I like that Mikel Arteta changed a little bit. We were able to see, of course, Aaron Ramsdale comes back and played his first Champions League game. He was very excited about it, and he did really well. We could see, to me, he's a much, 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 much better goalkeeper than David Raya. However, it stays, of course, the problem between him and Mikel Arteta, starting Raya, making Raya the number 1. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore, because it's just one person, Arteta thinks, that, David Raya is better. But the stats and everybody else that I talk to, everybody else that I read about, says the complete opposite of that. Mikel Arteta, sit Raya down and put Ramsdale back. He needs to be your number 1, because he is much better goalkeeper. And the subject. Let's go to our starting right back, Cedric Suarez. We loaned him to Fulham last year. He did really well. Comes back to us. You could still see he's the best ball crosser as a right back that we currently have. The guy always puts great balls in the box. Great balls. And you could see Kai Havertz trying to, get at the end of those. And that could be a lethal combination. We need to use him more. He's a great right back. On the left side was Jacob Kivor. And I think that also was a good choice. The Polish international proved himself If you remember a couple of games ago, he was really better than Zinchenko in my eyes. And in the middle, of course, we left Saliba and Gabriel, which also I like. I want that partnership. These two are young. They need games. They don't mind. They're strong, powerful. So hopefully they keep going. And now let's talk about the partnership in the middle. Finally, we saw Mohamed Elneny. Welcome back, Elneny, of course. Now he is the longest-lasting Arsenal player since Arsene Wenger, since Mesut Ozil, since Cazorla, since long time ago. Generations. Many different players. So he's still at the club, longest standing, Mohamed Elneny. And next to him was Jorginho, that captained the side on the day. I'd have loved to see Elneny as a captain. He actually is a much better captain, and he should be the captain, being in the club that long. But, of course, we know Arteta doesn't pay attention to these little details or whatever. But Jorginho, for me, should not captain Arsenal at all. And in the middle with them was Kai Havertz. Now we go up front and we see man of the match for me. We finally started Reiss Nelson. We can see him. And he also tucks into the back, and tucks into midfield a lot and has direct runs from the midfield, comes back to drop to get the ball, goes wide to get the ball, turns defenders. He's a complete player, takes shots, works, in tight areas, has vision, long balls. Great player. Great to see him. So it was him, Trossard up front, and Eddie Nketiah through the middle. That, of course, we saw 40 some odd minutes. We see Reiss Nelson assisting Eddie Nketiah to score the first Champions League goal for Eddie, yes, ever. Stopped it with right foot, placed it with the left foot, goes underneath the defender, and goes into goal. Arsenal 1-0. We had control, but I don't know what happened. Comes in the second half. I don't know if we were hungry enough, but we start letting them get more possession of the ball, letting them, attack us more. We have problems right and left. So we let a lot of, mistakes lead to them scoring a goal. And now we see Gabby Jesus, 80th minute, and Martin Odegaard. And we see, veteran players come in for Arsenal. Ben White came in also. But, I don't know if it was necessary for them to come in. Again, the game didn't mean anything. We qualified before the game. So I would have loved to see these players get a chance or an opportunity to see out the game. And they were all, doing okay. But, it is what it is. It's a 1-1. We still 13 points. We still qualify to the round of 16. Again, this is not a Champions League performance for me. That if we go play against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, the likes of, Barca, these heavy teams that play, football, or Inter Milan, and or Borussia Dortmund, even if you saw them today, I don't think that football will prevail. However, we did not start our first team, and again, that was not really a game that meant anything. So we go, and PSV comes with us. Lens Europa League, Sevilla's out, and that was Group B. Let's go to Group C, that of course is led by the 14 times winner Real Madrid. 18 points, 6 games. They won every single game they played. 6 times 3, 18. They go to the next round, of course. They take Napoli with them with 10 points. Braga goes to Europa League playoffs, and Union Berlin is completely out of the picture. We saw Real Madrid play Union Berlin. Good game. Berlin took the lead. All of a sudden, goalkeeper stops a penalty from Luka Modric. Luka misses. He stops the penalty. He makes almost an assist all the way to the front, and they score. But, of course, Real Madrid come back and win that game. And that was Group C. Let's go to the next group, which is, of course, Kieran Tierney, as I said, Real Sociedad, from the Spanish League. They're doing great. They have 12 points. Inter Milan goes up with them also, 12 points. So they both go to the round of 16. Benfica goes to Europa League, and Salzburg, they're out completely of Europe this year. And next we go to Group E. Atletico Madrid, of course, led that group. They're going with 14 points, leading, number 1. Lazio with them on 10 points. And then they both go to round 16 Champions League. Feyenoord, from the club from Holland, goes to Europa League playoffs. And Celtic, unfortunately, leaves Europe really early, and they just completely out. Next, of course, is the most exciting group, Group F, that has Borussia Dortmund, PSG, AC Milan, and Newcastle United. Again, you should watch the games. Both of them were very, very excited. Great football from both teams. Great competitive football, pressure, possession of ball, playing out wide, playing through the middle. Lots and lots of good plays. Defense, I've seen one of the best, if not the best defensive play this year by Sule, the defender for Borussia Dortmund, when Kylian Mbappe almost scored. But this young man, Sule, just slides in and lifts his foot to save it out of the goal. It was unbelievable to watch. Borussia Dortmund, 11 points. They go next. They take Paris Saint-Germain with them. They have 8 points, but the goal differential put them on top of Milan. That has the same amount of points, 8, but they're -3 when it comes to goal difference versus the +1 for PSG. Now, PSG second, they go again with Borussia Dortmund. Milan will go to Europa League, and Newcastle is out entirely. Newcastle was actually, first half, they were 1-0. That means they went, and nobody else will. But, see what happened? PSG at that time were down with Borussia Dortmund. So, Newcastle at some point went with Borussia Dortmund. But, of course, this is the beautiful game, and that's why we love it. Seconds can, add some goals that change the whole entire picture. And that was Group F, like I said, Group of Death. And next we go to Group G. Manchester City, only 2 teams, Real Madrid and City, that won every single game out of 6. Man City have 18 points. They go to the next round. They take RB Leipzig, Germany. It's a club from Germany. And Leipzig had 12 points. And the young boys will go to play for the Europa League playoffs. Crvena Zvezda, of course, they get out entirely. Next and last group would be Group H. Barcelona leads that group with 12 points. They lost to Antwerp today. Funny, but hey, listen, good for Antwerp. At least they have a win, so they're not the only club that never win anything, or any game, I mean. So Barcelona goes. FC Porto joins, both on 12 points. We have Shakhtar Donetsk going to Europe, and then we have Antwerp getting entirely out. So that was Champions League football for you. Match day 6. Of course, next again we play round of 16. Now, my take on our performance, I think we are solid. I think as, the round of 32 goes on, we gain confidence. We played some great football. We won great matches. We put some great scores. I didn't like the Lens loss. It was unnecessary. I didn't like conceding a goal to PSV. It was unnecessary. But again, that's not the game that counted. Overall, I thought Arsenal did good. Now, when I see Bayern Munich, when I see Real Madrid, when I see Barcelona, I don't really get too carried away thinking that Arsenal is going to go all the way. Now, do we have the players to go all the way in the Champions League? Absolutely. But do we have the coach? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because, I'm not seeing that solidness from the coach to go all the way. I see inconsistency. And to be in a Champions League, no matter what, like Real Madrid, yeah, you're down 1, they come back and win 2. You win every game in these, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, you see City and Bayern Munich and Real Madrid sent the message by winning every game, right? So you have to respect that. Arsenal, we should have won every game in that group. We didn't. So that's why I'm not putting us in the same brackets with those clubs and very developed coaches like Carlo Ancelotti that, at some point you have to know that will make a difference. Even with less players or less quality players, it's just the coach, the mindset. And Ancelotti won it so many times and won it as a player and won it as a coach. So his experience is just second to none, right? So to me, I still say Real Madrid is going to win it all because I don't want City to. But also you have clubs like Bayern Munich that look so strong. Borussia Dortmund looked really, really good. And I don't doubt they can, do something. PSG still in it. Kylian Mbappe can win you a tournament. There's Inter Milan. There's from Italy, of course. There's Napoli from Italy. Napoli. But Inter, they made it all the way to the final. They want to come back. They want to win it. So there's a lot of teams. I don't think Copenhagen will go all the way. I don't think Lazio will go all the way. Napoli, I don't think so. But there's certainly a lot of teams that are very strong. Now, Arsenal, when it comes to questions to Arsenal, again, as a fan, I'm not really too carried away that we'll make it all the way. Hopefully we just, past the round of 16, get to the quarterfinal or the semifinal. That would be very honorable for us. Even quarterfinal would be very, very good and honorable for us. And, that's after coming back to it, you go to the quarterfinal. That's a good start. I'd saddle to that. Now, as looking at it from a neutral, yeah, Arsenal can win it all, but they have to be consistent, and all their 8 players, their starting 11 has to be healthy, has to be consistent. With Premier League, with how hectic things are in the schedule in England, it's going to be tough. But I do not, see Arsenal away from away from those clubs that I put between brackets to win it all. So we'll see what happens. It's up in the air, but we'll see what happens. Now let's leave Champions League and let's go real quick to Premier League, where we know Arsenal played Aston Villa. Of course, Unai Emery, the ex-Arsenal manager, that Paul Merson said if he was the Arsenal manager last year, that Arsenal would have won it all. Lots of people, lot of opinions about that. Lots of talks about that. And you know what? It might be true. If you ask me personally, I thought about it for a little bit. But yeah, if Unai Emery was the Arsenal manager last year, I think Arsenal would have won the Premier League, because we saw the weakness of Arsenal towards the end. But I blame it more not on the players. I would blame it more towards the managers. So yes, because we pretty much won it. We just had to stay winning it, and we couldn't do that. Unai Emery, I think, could have done that. So let's talk about that Aston Villa game real quick, because, right now, unfortunately, we're second. Let's just start by saying that because of that game. We lost to Aston Villa at Villa Park. The Unai Emery's men were very determined. They scored early and hung on to the scores. It was very well managed game. You know what I mean? We started in this game with David Raya. Ben White came back to right back. Willie Saliba, Gabriel. We saw Zinchenko starting to the left. Now let's go to midfield. We had Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Kai Havertz. I like the partnership till Thomas Partey comes back. I think those are the strongest 3. Bukayo Saka, Gabby Jesus, and Martinelli were up front, of course. Listen, let me talk about Martinelli real quick before I go into the game. I really don't like how isolated he always is. I think we need to rely on him towards the middle more. I think as a winger, he's great. He goes out, he comes in, but he does it by himself always. He doesn't have enough service. So I think we need more help from Martinelli. And I think also that Reiss Nelson, after what he showed us at the, PSV game in Champions League midweek, he should start more. And he should start as that supporting role from the midfield, maybe, why not, to Martinelli. So if Martinelli goes up, he covers him and he shifts with him and they move together. That movement could be lethal for Arsenal. It could be something new that we can add to the front, because just going out wide, bringing it, going out wide, bringing it, going out wide and bringing it can take us, this far. We have to be more versatile. We have to be, not predictable. And we're playing in so many different leagues, and especially in the Premier League, for you to win it, we see how City approach, every game. So we can't be predictable. We have to be versatile. We have to be much, much better. Now, again, the starting 11 for this Premier League game was great. And also Kai Havertz, just to let you know, scored a goal that, again, VAR robbed Arsenal one more time. We can add how many times VAR did that to Arsenal, and it's now embarrassing. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I don't have any more words to say. I've said it so many times. The ref called it back as a handball on Kai Havertz, but they didn't see that the defender himself, the Aston Villa defender, was the one that pushed it with his hands towards Kai Havertz's hands. So how come you only see Kai Havertz's handball, but you don't see Aston Villa's handball? That is pretty obvious, that you refuse to see the obvious error, which is a penalty kick for Arsenal. Pull the goal back, give him a penalty kick. That's the right call. And now you go to give them a handball on Kai Havertz. I'm speechless. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to even say anything. However, 2 games, that's 2 points, because we would have drawn Newcastle. The goalie they gave them, that was completely, of course, not a goal. And then Aston Villa, They take that out of the goal and they give it as a handball on Kai Havertz, which is a penalty kick. So Shambolicness again by VAR, and I don't know what to say. It is what it is. We move forward. Next for us, of course, Arsenal go back to the Premier League, and we play at home this time. We have Brighton coming to us. They play football. They play great football, so we got to get it together. It's a must win. Liverpool is 1 point ahead of us. We play them on Sunday. That's December the 17th, 6 a.m. our time. Yeah, I'm going to be waking up. Yeah, I'm going to be watching every minute of this game. And hopefully we come out with a win. As you could see, Liverpool now is ahead of us. City's 1 point behind. So it's pretty tight. And this is not the time for us to go lose to Aston Villa or to anybody at any given point. Because if we want to win the Premier League, again, we got to be consistent. That's the one thing that worries me, our inconsistency. We can see, teams that win it all, City of the world. If you go to Real Madrid, if you go to, Napoli last year, if you go to PSG, those are consistent teams. They don't go and lose, these 2 points to teams that they shouldn't lose to. Arsenal still do that. We shouldn't have lost the Newcastle. Of course, yes, I can blame it on the referee, but that's not the case. That's a football match. Referees will never be perfect. But we should have at least drawn this game, and we also should have drawn with Aston Villa, if not even win. And Aston Villa, we had ball position. We had it all, and we had more shots than they did. I think we had like 16. They had like 11. So next game, hopefully, best of luck for Arsenal Football Club. Hopefully we start the right, players together, play the right way. We're at home. It should be at 3 points. Come on, you Gunners. Congratulations. Champions League, we're next to the round of 16th. Thank you. Thank you, God, for that, because we needed it. We need to see Arsenal play a couple more games in the Champions League. And it feels good that we come back to the Champions League and now we go straight to the round of 16. Premier League, hopefully we beat Brighton, and hopefully I come back to you after the Sunday game with another win. You have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And thank you very much one more time. Have a great week.